Welcome back to the Tiny Room Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B21, and it's their take on a Bumblebee, this intelligence officer, as they call it, a cool little figure. We're going to talk about this. I got this at Shozu. You can get yours there too. There'll be a link down below. Let's talk about it coming up. And here we go with the packaging. It looks good. Looks a little bit different than I kind of expect Magic Square packaging to have, sort of a retro-esque feel to it, to look a little bit more retro. But yeah, that's how it looks. It's a tiny, tiny little box for a tiny, tiny little figure. All right, so here he is right out of the packaging. And the thing about this is that, as you can see, he's got a bunch of wheels, some tires. You've got to put your own tires on, I guess. So that's something that we're going to do as we go through this. And now it doesn't seem like a big deal. They give you enough tires that maybe if one splits or cracks down the road, you got a replacement. So I do like that. The cool rubber tires, that's a nice little touch. So let's take a good look at this guy here, and he actually looks pretty good. As you can see, there is a matte finish to him, so he's not super shiny and super bright. And I do believe they'll do a shinier one down the road that costs a little bit more than this guy here. But looking good. He's got the blue paint for the windows, kind of in line with what the Masterpiece line is doing right now. And he does, well, it's not much paint other than that blue, really. Everything else is just molded plastic and colored plastic. But it gets the job done, and you tell what it looks like. Looks like a couple of little indentions right here that are going to be for the transformation. The inside does show kind of some kibble with the inside of the foot, but not really that bad. It definitely looks like a Bumblebee, and he's got definitely the silhouette that you're looking for. The gun is ridiculously small. It is super tiny. I just can't believe how small this is. I actually thought it was going to be a bit bigger than this, but let's real quick get into some articulation with this guy, which he's got plenty. His head doesn't move up and down much, but it does side to side. Your shoulder all the way out to the 90, and of course you have the 360 on a ball peg, and you have some articulation at the elbow there, and then you have a past the 90 on the elbow, and then just a molded hand, tiny molded hand, and it doesn't have any articulation other than, I guess it folds in, but that's all that. You have waist swivel, which is part of the transformation. You do have a ball socket here, so you can kind of get what you need out of that. Yeah, you can get what you need. And then you have a thigh swivel, and then you do have the 90. Is it double? It almost looks double jointed, but it's not. It almost looked like it would be. And then you have the ankle tilt. It's a rocker, but no front and back tilt. Now, when you get to these ankles, there's something about this here. You can open this up. Open this piece up, and then you can, let's look at it from the inside. You can rock it down like so, and then it doesn't really all fold back the right way, so you kind of need to leave the kibble in the back. That's going to shorten it. So as you can see here, it makes it shorter. And so if you want to do that to the other side also, of course, and then that's showing you can make it shorter if you want. Now, I don't know why. I think it's already too short, or it's real short and to start with, but there it is. They showed you this option. You can make it shorter. I don't like that. I'm putting it back the way it was. So here it is compared to the New Age Flipper. Now, I want to say a few things here. First of all, I thought the New Age Flipper was too small when it came out, and now I'm like, wow, this thing is even smaller. But I do think that the Magic Square is sleeker, more tune accurate, and looks more correct. I think the New Age one, which is why New Age is making another one, it was just too short and stubby and kind of too wide. He wasn't, didn't look as good as I thought it should. But anyhow, it was the best one. The Flipper was the best one for a long time. And now this one is the best one. Who knows when Magic Square comes out with their 2.0, which one will be the best. Here he is next to the two Masterpiece versions, the MP21 and the MP40 something, whatever, 45, I guess. I don't even remember. But anyway, there they are side by side. That's what they look like. And yeah, I mean, this actually looks pretty good. It's good. I'd like to see this with some paint. If it has the same level of paint as the Masterpiece, could we call it a mini Masterpiece? Quite possibly. So I think when it comes to these figures, it's really the most important part is how does it scale with the rest of your figures? How's it going to look on your shelf? And there he is. So I guess scale-wise, it does scale okay. I just figured he'd be a little bigger, a little taller, but that does look all right. Let's throw in a New Age Jazz, an Iron Factories Mirage, and we can kind of see how this is starting to stack up like this. Looks like a pretty good team. I think that blends really well. And even the New Age right here, the New Age Jazz, it's small. I think that's too small myself. But looking at this together, it looks like an okay team. And when you throw in the Iron Trans, I like the Iron Trans Carbots the most out of the Carbots so far. And it's a bit too big. It's too big for this whole little setup, and definitely too big for the Bumblebee. But if you work it out and put them in different places, you can make it work on a shelf. So let's get this guy transformed up. And first thing I want to say, you want to take this little gun. Do not lose it. I'm just going to toss it in the included baggie that it came in with a lot of other stuff, including the 8 wheels. And we're going to get this guy transformed up. First things first, let's pan out just a bit, and we're going to rotate that around. And you can see here, these pieces here collapse. Collapse. And then we're going to open up the legs and then pull the wheel down. I guess we're opening up the heel, and we're going to pull the wheels down. And then these will just fold up nice and easy. And we've got that part taken care of. You can at this point actually tab this in right here, and that's all squared away and taken care of. Now we need to move the arms up, and we're going to need to get these things in position. So let's open this up, and then we'll see. It'll make sense how to position the arms. When you tuck the head in like so, and all that's going to go into there. But before we get too deep into all of that, we got to pull this piece out, and that's going to form part of the hood. And then we need to bring these wheels out, and as you can see, we're already starting to make the bottom of the body there. And then we need to get the arms positioned to where they form the rest of the hood. So lifting this part back up again. So it's looking like this. We're going to lift this up, and we got to rotate the arms. Okay, this goes in double hinged, and got to form the rest of this hood. Okay, you need this notch here to be facing upward, because this notch here is going to go in, that tab's going to notch into it when it all folds in. So double hinged this piece in, notch up, and that's all going to fold in like so. Do it on the other side, make sure it's lined up to where you have this double hinging. Let's look at it from this angle. This is going to double hinge in, and you have to make sure, flip it all around. This notch is facing up, which it is. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain it as simple, but it's simple. And then you're going to tab this in to this notch. Like so. It's a lot easier to do. It's harder to say, I guess, and show. Now that you've rotated it, you rotate it again. And this I found to be kind of tricky, is the rotating it again. Maybe I could do it without everything attached, but fold this back down. There, you rotated that again, and then get all this set back up. And then we need to plug all this into the front end. The hands are going to go into the hood. Tabs are going to go here. We're going to line all this stuff up and just plug it all in real good. Tab it all in. There. And then this will tab together. Okay, the first time I transformed it, it was a little easier. Second time, I'm having a little more trouble getting it all tabbed and lined up, but it's working. It's visually working. And there it is. Okay, my problem is, for whatever reason, I keep trying to make this go flat. right there. And this is going to stick out no matter what. That's not going to flatten out. So that's why when I'm tabbing all this together, I'm like, why is that still sticking out? It's not supposed to go flat. That's kind of the problem. You also have one more thing back here. So we have this tire piece. You can flip it up, roll it around, and tab it back in. And that popped off on me earlier. If it pops off, it just pops right back in. It actually is just on a little peg, and it could go in. So just kind of cool that they incorporated something so it doesn't, one less way for it to pop up. But let's have a look at this guy. All right, so here he is in his alt mode, and I think he looks pretty good in his alt mode. He does roll, and you need to have the tires, wheels positioned, whatever, because of the rubber tires just right, and you can get him to roll really well. But looking at him, he does look like sort of like a VW Bug, but not exactly, and he doesn't look exactly tuned, but like a combination between the tune and the real world. I think that it actually does look pretty good. It's kind of interesting their take on it, and it kind of cleans up. It kind of, all the panels, you see the lines and stuff, but they all hit pretty tight. Yeah, it looks good. I kind of like that. Now they do have a lot of paint in here. We got some paint on for the headlights, on the bumper, of course the windows all the way around. We saw that in the other mode. And then it's interesting because it almost looks like a bumper. Is that paint there? And it matches the plastic almost perfect, and the plastic kind of shines through. Just interesting. It looks like there's a lot going on back there, like it was intentional, and some of it is just the plastic hinges and pieces and stuff. But the wheels do kind of move around a little bit still, even in this mode. But yeah, it does look pretty good. Let's do a few comparisons on this guy. So here he is next to Flipper, and I still think Flipper is a pretty decent alt mode, but I do think this cleans up better. The panel lines are a little bit better, and you don't have this eyesore right there on the side. Same kind of eyesore that we see with some of the Iron Trans figures. There is from that side, from the back, and so they do go about it a little bit different. There's a little bit more paint. You got the paint on the rear there, but you get the bumper here. You get the rear window here and not here. So definitely they go about it a different way. Which one do you like the best? So comparing this to New Age here, the New Age one of Braun should be way bigger. So again, this is different scales from different companies at different times and what they're doing. I think right now they're scaling together a lot closer, so you can mix and match New Age and Magic Square a lot more. But again, that's kind of the scale and size and look of these guys. Just moved that around, popped off, but I think it might look better down here like this. Anyhow, here's how he scales with Iron Trans and Iron Factory. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's way too small, but these are different scales, I guess. I kind of feel like Iron Factory could work with your Magic Square. A little too big for New Age, for some of the era of New Age, but again, not bad. So this has been the Magic Square MS-B21, the Intelligence Officer, their take on a Bumblebee. It looks really good. It looks good in both modes. Transformation is interesting. It's not too complex. It works out pretty good. The gun is really small, and you have to put the tires on, which is no big deal. I do think this is going to look really good when they have an upgraded paint job for it too. So kind of look forward to that. I'll probably have to pick that one up too because I just like it when it's painted really well. But this, as it stands, looks good, is the best on the market today. You can get your Shozy. I got mine there. Have a link down below. Like, subscribe to Deer Hanger out.